The chair would like to recognize Congressman Rodante Marcoleta.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I be allowed to raise some procedural issues?
Congressman Marcoleta, you are not a member of this committee, so therefore you are not allowed. Yes.
So I move that we strike out the motion that was delivered and manifested by Congressman Marcoleta.
Is there any second to the motion?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Meron na po bang representative from the OBP?
Wala pa rin po. Comsec.
May I be recognized, Your Honor?
Yes, as Comsec,
I
you are
was
recognized.
informed by the registration that there was one representative who signed in the registration. Her name is Marie Cristel Axalan, while the rest did not register, Your Honor. And they are not here anymore. Marie Cristel Axalan signed the registration, Your Honor.
She signed in the registration,
Yes.
but she is not physically present.
She was here a while ago.
She was here.
Some of them were here a while ago and now they cannot be located, Your Honor.
Medyo nakaka-worry lang po talaga itong 125 million for 11 days. And this amount is so huge that needs to be investigated. 16 million was spent for 11 days for the Office of the Vice President doon po sa mga safe houses for maintenance. Yung po purchase of supplies which cost us 35 million for 11 days. 1.2
And if
purchase of information a day.
Kakapasok lang na balita, grabe Vice President Sara Duterte. Nagulat tinanggal na sa pwesto si Marcoleta. Impeach ang hatol sa kanilang dalawa ni Congressman Dan Fernandez. Ayon sa nakalap nating impormasyon, binira ni Congressman Dan Fernandez si Congressman Rodante Marcoleta matapos tanggalin sa pwesto ng Congress dahil sa ginagawang pagtatanggol kay VP Sara sa issue ng confidential fund na balak imbestigahan sana ng Congress. Ayon kay Congressman Dan Fernandez, strikeout na ang motion ni Congressman Rodante Marcoleta, hindi na siya miyembro ng Congress. Hindi din umattend sa hearing si Vice President VP Sara. Dalawa sila ipasisibak ni Congressman Dan Fernandez.
During the last hearing, there was a question raised by a non-member in the person of Honorable colleague Congressman Dante Marcoleta. And as I understand, non-members of the committee may not make any motions in the committee, in the proceedings. And while the jurisdictional issue was raised via a manifestation by Representative Marcoleta, it was a motion which ended with a request that this committee terminate its proceedings. May I know the action of the committee, Mr. Chair?
it was denied, considering that Congressman Marcoleta is not a member of this committee, hence he cannot raise a motion.
So therefore, the motion of Congressman Marcoleta
Out of order.
is ruled out of order.
Yes.
So was there any motion for reconsideration on that particular
Wala po.
decision?
Wala po, dahil hindi naman po siya member eh.
Okay.
In the first place, wala po siyang locus standi to present a motion.
So it is clear that a non-member of the committee may not or cannot make any motion
And he cannot even vote.
and he cannot even vote.
Tama po.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Congressman Dan
another point
Fernandez.
of
Clarification.
information also. May we remind all the members of the House of Representatives to also adhere with the clarification that was entered by Chairman Barbers to remind our members of the House of Representatives, that are not member of any committee to submit themselves to the plenary approval prior to the being a member of any specific committee, because all of the members of this committee and I myself, if I wanted to be a member of any specific committee, I ask the permission of the plenary, and with that we can avoid some confusion and debate in the committee itself, and that entails time element kasi aside from disturb po yung discussion is entails also the intention of delaying the investigation that every committee are conducting. With that, Mr. Chairman, I hope that it's a clarification to all the members of the 19th Congress. Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Chair, just a parliamentary inquiry.
Yes, Congressman Barbers.
May I know if Congressman Fernandez and myself is a member of the committee?
Yes, you are both members.
Maraming salamat.
Mr. Chairman, I applied. I applied and I put myself in the plenary. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And besides, the committee already ruled with respect to the jurisdiction, and yung pong statement po ni Congressman Marcoleta is moot and academic na po dahil po nag-take na po tayo ng jurisdiction. Is there any concern?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, we will now. Are we going to proceed with the interpellation, or this is
No, I would just like to make a comment on the...
yes, please proceed, Congressman Acop.
Yes. Now, since the rule read by the Honorable Barbers stated that non-members of this committee may not make any motions, and we had a non-member state a motion, the question is, what should we do with the motion? I said, it's out of order. Now, are we not supposed to move to strike it out of the minutes, Mr. Chair?
Is there any motion? Do I hear a motion?
I think it is incumbent upon us to have a motion to strike it out from the records of this committee, because this will take a bad precedent, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So I move that we strike out the motion that was delivered and manifested by Congressman Marcoleta.
Is there any second to the motion?
Second.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried. We will now proceed to the interpellation. Congressman Acop will be the first interpellator. Please proceed, Congressman Acop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Most of the questions that my staff has prepared would concern Madam Gina F. Acosta, the Special Disbursing Officer of the Office of the Vice President. I think she's not present today. Is she? Comsec? Present ba si Madam Gina Acosta? Kasi siya ang supposedly the Special Disbursing Officer.
No, Your Honor.
She is not present. So, Mr. Chair, my questions would wait for the time that Madam Gina F. Acosta would be present in the next hearing, but I would just like to ask some questions from COA if they're present this morning. Thank you. Kailan po nyo inirelease yung COA audit report nyo regarding the office of the OVP regarding the use of the amount of 125 million under line item confidential expenses? Kailan po nyo na-release yung COA report nyo?
Sino po ang sasagot? Attorney, sorry, hindi ko po makita yung pangalan. Attorney Camora from COA, please proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. As to confidential intelligence and confidential funds, we do not issue any audit reports, just the audit actions, Mr. Chair.
Audit action.
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Chair.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Now, when was the confidential fund in the amount of 125 million transferred to the office of the Vice President?
Sino po sasagot?
It was in December.
Attorney Camora?
December.
Mr. Chair, may I be clarified? The cash advance, Mr. Chair?
Yes. When was the fund, the 125 million amount, transferred to the office of the Vice President?
Mr. Chair, the fund was received on December 20, 2022, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Thank you. Now, on 25 September 2023, according to reports, kayo po ay nag-confirm, maybe because of reports, na galing po sa Office of the Vice President na the amount of 125 million confidential funds was spent in 11 days.
Mr. Chair, based on their liquidation reports, opo.
Kayo po ang nagsabi nito in your report.
Wala pong report, Mr. Chair, but audit action po.
Oh, it's an audit action. At
Yes,
kino-confirm
Mr.
nyo
Chair.
na yung amount na 125 million was spent by the Office of the Vice President in 11 days. And that would be amounting to 11.3 thereabouts million per day. Would that be correct? Tama po ba yun?
Mr. Chair, may I ask for the question to be repeated?
Ano po? Uulitin ko po?
Opo.
Kayo po nagko-confirm na in-spend in your liquidation in the liquidation report that was submitted to you, kayo po nag-confirm na in 11 days naubos po yung 125 million confidential funds. Tama po.
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
And that is equivalent to spending 11.3 million a day if it was spent or if the amount was spent in 11 days. Tama po rin po.
Tama po, Mr. Chair, based on
Yes.
their documents po.
Yung 11 days na yon ay nung panahon na from 21 to 31 ng December 2022. Would that also be correct? O tama po ba yun?
Based on their accomplishment report, tama po, Mr. Chair.
And that is at the height of the holiday season, matatapos na po yung taon, di po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
At lahat po ng ahensya ng gobyerno nagmamadali na ma-spend yung kanilang pera na nasa kanilang opisina. Di po ba? Kasi ang nangyayari po, hindi ba, kung minsan, December 31, pinapaspasan po ng mga opisina ng gobyerno ang pag-liquidate po ng mga pondo na nasa kanila. Hindi po ba tama yun? Alam ko po yun dahil naging controller po ako ng Philippine National Police noong Chief PNP si Senator Lacson at yun ang nangyayari. Kayo po ang sasagot, hindi na po siya.
That's correct po, Your Honor.
Yes.
Paki-address niyo po yung chair sa antakantayin niyo po na recognize kayo. You are Miss Sofia Gemora.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, please continue.
Kasi minamadali po nila ng mga ehensya dahil if you notice, yung buwan ng Disyembre, normally it has four non-working holidays. So, 4 na ang nabawas sa 11 days para gastusin mo. Tama rin po ba?
If I may add, Your Honor, to what Attorney Camora had said earlier, with regards to the 11 days report of our audit team, we are the audit team of the Office of the Vice President. So, looking at the records or the recording in the financial statements, we found out that the cash advance was drawn on December 20, 2022. And on December 31, looking at the financial statements, there was an expenditures recorded of the same amount, the 125 million. So that was the reason why we, of course, it's correct to say that that was the 125 million was expended in 11 days. Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam. Now, because of this, the COA issued a notice of disallowance dated 8 August 2024, this allowing the amount of 73,287,000 from the 125 million confidential funds disbursed by the Office of the Vice President in 2022. Tama rin po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Now, may I know kung ano po yung mga dahilan po ninyo bakit nag-issue po kayo ng notice of disallowance doon po sa expenditure on confidential funds by the Office of the Vice President? Pwede po bang malaman yung rason po ninyo?
Attorney Gamora.
Mr. Chair, our reasons were indicated po at the ND. I'd like to make a rundown po. Yung may issue po sa payment of rewards nila, may issue sa payment of charging payment for tables, chairs, desktop computers and printers to the confidential fund, and also a non-submission of the revised accomplishment report, Mr. Chair.
Yun po yung yun po yung official reason why you COA issued a notice of disallowance. Tama rin po.
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Now, may I ask, meron po siguro kayong breakdown ng expenditure of the confidential funds. Meron po ba kayo?
Mr. Chair, meron po sa accomplishment report.
Yes, and yung breakdown po ng expenditure ng 125 million, nasa inyo po sigurado yon. Tama rin po.
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Now, may I know kung saan po nagastos ng Office of the Vice President yung 125 million? Was it spent in accordance with the rules, regulations, and protocol on the expenditure or on the use of confidential funds? Nasunod po ba yun?
Yes, Mr. Chair. As indicated sa accomplishment report po, na-liquidate naman po nila based on confidential expenses as required by the joint circular po, Mr. Chair.
If I may, alam naman po ninyo yung section 4.8 of Joint Circular number 2015-01
Yes, Mr.
on the
Chair.
use of confidential funds.
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Now, categorically, yung po bang items na kung saan ginamit yung confidential funds ay naaayon po dito sa circular na ito?
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Kung naaayon sa circular na ito, bakit kayo nag-issue ng notice of disallowance?
Mr. Chair, as to yung first finding, meron po kasing specific requirement ang joint circular na document na hindi po nila na-submit or nag-submit sila pero hindi po sufficient siya to answer the requirement of the joint circular, Mr. Chair.
Na-mention kanina ni Chairman, the Honorable Joel Chua, na in the accomplishment report of the President, if I remember it right, meron pong ginamit na yung surveillance in 132 places. Tama ba, Mr. Chair? Yung
Areas po yun.
narinig ko na yun.
132 areas po.
Yes.
Yung 125 million, parang ginamit po yan in 132 areas.
Yes, and accordingly, it was 100% compliance. Hindi po ba sa tingin ng COA medyo kwan ito? Medyo imposible?
Mr. Chair, parang based on other parang okay lang naman po siya.
Kami po ay gumagamit din po ng intelligence fund. Nanggaling po ako sa service At alam ko na mahirap gawin ito. I will conduct surveillance in 132 areas in 11 days. Tapos kayo ngayon sa COA, sinasabi ninyo na posible pala ito. Samantalang kami on the ground na gumagawa nito noong ako'y nasa serbisyo, nahihirapan po kami. So, what is your basis na pwedeng sabihin na posible ito, Madam COA?
Mr. Chair, there are also deficiencies here.
No, tinatanong ko lang po kayo kasi sa mata po ng COA, yung mag-conduct ka ng surveillance activities in 132 areas in 11 days, para sa amin po na gumagawa nito in our use of intelligence funds, no, ako po yung nasa servisyo, nahirapan po kami Tapos sa mata pala ninyo, posibleng-posible pala ito. Tama po ba yung aking kaisipan?
Mr. Chair, ang identified lang po ay number of areas, pero pwede din pong i-consider yung kung ilan po yung kung ilang tao po yung pinag-spendan ng funds, Mr. Chair.
But the liquidation report does not say so.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
In-assume na lang ninyo yun
Mr. Chair, meron po silang submitted na mga documentary evidence.
Okay. Mr. Chair, those would be the questions that I would ask, I have asked from COA. Yun po yung aking nihanda. The others would pertain to Madam Gina F. Acosta. So, marami pong salamat, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to interpellate. Thank you.
Thank you po, Congressman Angkop. The next interpellator is the Honorable Congressman Rolando Valeriano.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair? Quick question.
Congressman Ortega, with the indulgence of Congressman Valeriano, the Chair would like to recognize Congressman Ortega.
Mr. Chair, I've noticed that there are some employees and from the Office of the Vice President who are here. Are we gonna sit them as a resource person, or they just going to sit around the hall, Mr. Chair?
I was informed a while ago that the spokesman of the Vice Mayor is Vice President is representing the DepEd, not the Office of the Vice President. But I was told by the COMSEC that a while ago, the OBP Chief of Staff, Attorney Solweta Lopez, supposedly is present today, but could not be located as of now. May I know if Attorney Solweta Lopez is here inside the Zulaika? Sorry. If Attorney Zulaika Lopez is present in this
Mr.
hearing?
Chairman, I think Yusek Powa is the spokesperson of the Vice President. Maybe he can answer on your query, considering that he knows all about the OBP.
Yes, would you like to please join us?
Mr. Chairman, good morning.
Yes,
morning to the members
morning,
of the
Yusek Powa.
I have not seen Yusek Zulaika since I arrived this morning. And to be very honest with you, I do not know if she was even here today. But I don't think she's with us at the moment. For the OBP matters, let me just manifest, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, that I only joined OBP po kasi itong August.
Okay.
So, and only as a spokesperson, I am only a consultant in the Office of the Vice President as her spokesperson. So, sa totoo lang po, I will not be competent to answer any questions as regards yung operations pa po talaga ng OBP at this point, Your Honors.
Mr. Chairman, if
Yes, Congressman
was he
Fernandez.
not given authority to answer some queries from this committee?
Do you have any authority from
Mr.
the
Chair,
Office of the Vice President?
Mr. Chair, I was not given po any authority today. I am appearing today because part of the invitations given to the DepEd family also included my name. So that is the only reason why I decided to appear po today before you.
Okay. Okay po ba sa inyo yan? Okay, we will now proceed to the... But before I recognize Congressman Valeriano, the Chair would like to recognize the presence of Honorable Clarice Ann Hernandez of the Long District of Calamba City. Good morning po, ma'am. And Congressman Kit Flores. Yes, good morning po. Congressman Valeriano, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a bit background lang po. Last August 13, 2024, yung House Committee on Appropriation issue a subpoena duces tecum requiring the COA to submit dito po sa amin sa House Committee ng audit report on the confidential fund ng OBP and the DepEd for the years 2022 and 2023. Pero bago after nun, a letter dated August 21 or 6 days before the House Committee on APRO was scheduled to hear, the OBP through its Undersecretary and Chief of Staff, Attorney Lopez, advised COA against complying with the subpoena duces tecum. So, yung katanungan ko po sa COA, Commission on Audit, kay Ms. Marta Rosat, ma'am, wala po yata si Honorable Cordova?
He's not...
Sa inyo na lang po, ma'am. Kung maalala niyo po, meron pong subpoena duces tecum requiring the COA to submit to the House Committee in regards to sa report ng confidential pa ng OBP and the DepEd for the year 2022 and 2023. Tama po?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair,
Please wait
Your
to be
Honor.
recognized. Ms. Marta Roxanne Sese, you are recognized.
Yes. Mr. Chair, Your Honor, may I request for a repetition of the question, please?
Nakatanggap po kayo ng Subpoena duces tecum requiring the COA, kayo po, to submit to the House Committee the audit report on the confidential fund ng OBP and the DepEd para sa taong 2022 and 2023. Tama po? Yung letter po is dated August, I think 13, 2024. August 21. Tama.
Your Honor, may I please refer first to the legal services sector representative because I am not privy to that very document.
May you know who will answer? Attorney Camora, please answer.
Yes, Mr. Chair, nakatanggap po kami ng subpoena.
Yan. Yung August 21, 2024, you receive a letter from the OBP directly to Chairperson Cordoba. And it was personal. Ang sinasabi po ron, kung maalala nyo, pinipigilan ang COA na mag-release ng details. Tama po?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Sino po ang nag-receive ng letter?
Mr. Chair, sa Office of the Chairperson po.
Sa Office of the Chair. Binigay po ba anyway, wala si Chairman pero baka kaya niya pong sagutin. Binigay po ba kaagad ito personally kay Chairman Cordoba or dinaan pa sa kanyang mga staff?
Mr. Chair, hindi ko po alam kung kailan nabigay kay Chairperson pero na-receive po ng ICFAO ng office namin and then we elevated po the matter to the Chairperson.
Yes. Ano po ang naging aksyon ng COA in regards to that letter?
We complied with the subpoena to Sistecom, Mr. Chair.
So, ang discretion po kung lawful at reasonable ang pag-comply sa mga subpoena or kung lawful excuse not to comply ay tanging tama po, nasa inyo, nasa COA lang?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, pong COA rules.
Yeah, at bilang constitutional independent body, hindi po maaring diktahan basta-basta ang COA, tama po?
Being an independent body, tama po, Mr. Chair.
Lalo na po kung ito ay in relation to the constitutional duties ng COA gaya ng pag-o-audit sa ahensya ng kahit anong government agency, tama po?
Tama naman po, Mr. Chair.
Under the presumption of regularity, ang COA ay kailangan mag-comply sa mga subpoena. As a matter of course, tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
So, did the COA reply?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We replied to the subpoena to Sistecom.
Okay. Nagkaroon po ba ng exchange of correspondence na sagutan yung OBP tsaka yung COA in regards po doon sa request nila?
Mr. Chair, parang wala na pong response po.
So, sinunod niyo po ba yung directive ng OBP not to comply with the subpoena?
Mr. Chair, yung hindi po. Ang nag-comply po kami yung sa subpoena to Sistecom.
So, ang COA po ay sumunod sa subpoena because they agree that Congress does have the power to subpoena these documents. Correct?
Mr. Chair, our rules also allows us to comply to subpoena to Sistecom and other lawful orders po.
Yes. Ang COA ay sumunod sa subpoena dahil ito ay in-issue batay sa power to conduct legislative inquiries ng Congress. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
And COA likewise agrees that the audit of the confidential funds, which are government funds, are matters of public concern. Tama po ba?
Tama.
Tama.
In terms of audit po, Mr. Chair, tama po.
And the public has the right to know paano po ginagastos ang pera ng bayan, di po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
And likewise, ang Kongreso ay may obligasyon. Kami po dito na siguruhin ang pera ng bayan ay ginagastos po sa tamang paraan. Tama po?
We submit po sa ano po.
And when the COA complied with the subpoena, ano po ba yung response ng OBP, ng Office of the Vice President? Did the OBP reach out to COA again?
Mr. Chair, wala po akong alam na nagbigay po sila ng further requests or
letter, napadala ba sila ng communication again? Hindi na po?
wala na po, Mr. Chair.
Were further attempts made by the OBP to force or compel COA not to comply with the subpoena, even a phone call or what?
Wala naman po. I'm not aware of any letter or any communication po.
Okay. Thank you, Madam. Sa OBP po, meron bang pwedeng sumagot? Wala talaga si Atty. Lopez? Comsec, how about Atty. Limuel G. Ortonio? Andito po.
Negative as well, Your Honor.
Again?
Mr. Chair,
Wala po.
with the indulgence of
Congressman
the
Acop, you're
Honorable
recognized.
Valeriano, before we leave the issue on the subpoena duces tecum, Your
With the
Honor.
indulgence of Honorable. Please proceed, Congressman Acop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I know if we have required the submission of the letter of the Office of the Vice President through Undersecretary-in-Chief of Staff Lopez to the COA? Did we require COA to submit a copy of that letter to the committee?
Mr. Chair, wala po yata kaming.
Attorney Camora, before you answer, please wait to be recognized. May I recognize the COMSEC?
Your Honor, thank you. Wala po, Your Honor. However, in the previous meeting, I was directed to write a letter to the Committee on Appropriations Chairperson to request for the documents submitted to them through the subpoena duces tecum filed or issued by the Committee on Appropriations, Your Honor.
No. May I move, Mr. Chair, that COA submits to us a copy of the letter of the Office of the Vice President through Undersecretary Lopez?
There's a motion by the Honorable Acop to require COA to submit the letter of the Honorable Vice President
Through
Undersecretary Lopez. Is there any second to the motion? Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Mr. Chair, with the permission of Congressman Acop, we have some representatives from the Office of the Vice President available. Baka meron po kayong kopya ng sulat na yon. At kung may kopya po sila at dala-dala po nila, baka pwede maibigay na po nila ngayon yung sulat. Mr. Chair?
Sino pong representative ng OVP ang nandito po? Wala po yata.
Mr. Chair?
Sino yan?
Si Sibilyan, di ba?
Please identify yourself, please.
Wait.
Sino po?
Mr. Chair, point of order lang, no? Earlier
What is
there
the
were,
point of order?
Yeah, earlier there were representatives from the OBP. May I ask where they are now?
Your Honor, may I be recognized, Your Honor?
Yes, COMSEC, you're recognized.
They were located at the corner of the room earlier, Your Honor. Some of the representatives were there. They did not give the committee secretary their names, but they were there and now they are not here, Your Honor.
Are you referring to Attorney Zuleika Lopez?
For clarification, Your Honor, there was an error in recognition of Attorney Zuleika. The observation of Kong Acop is valid. Wala po talaga siya. Hindi po natin.
Wala talaga.
Mga security po yata kanina yung dumating, Your Honor.
Okay, security lang po.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sino po yun?
Mr. Chair? Congressman Singh, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Swansing.
Mr. Chair, with regard to the letter being discussed at the moment, I also ask to confirm with Representative Luis Lo, this said letter was already requested and brought up during the second hearing for the OVP budget deliberations. And this letter was already furnished to us during that committee hearing.
So we are already in receipt of the letter.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'll defer to Representative Luis Shaw because during the hearing itself, the representative from COA turned over that letter to Representative Luis Tro.
Yes, Congressman Luis Tro, you are recognized by the chair.
Mr. Chair, I confirm the manifestation of the Honorable Suwan Singh that during the budget briefing of the OVP, we requested the COA to submit to the Committee on Appropriations, the copy of the letter of the OVP opposing the subpoena duces tecum issued by the Committee on Appropriations. So may we inquire from the COMSEC if we can get in touch with the Committee on APRO so we can be provided a copy of this letter opposing the subpoena, Mr. Chair.
Comsec, please take note of the manifestation of Congresswoman Luistro. Congressman Dan Fernandez, you are
Yes,
recognized.
just wanted to be clarified on the submission of that letter that was given to Honorable Jinky Luistro. Can I be informed who signed that letter?
It is a certain Attorney Sulaika,
Attorney
Chief of
Sulaika.
Staff of the Office of the Vice President.
Chief of Staff of OBP.
Have we invite Attorney Sulaita?
Comsec?
Huh?
Comsec, did we invite Attorney Sulaika?
Have we invited?
Did we
Yes.
send an invitation? Yes.
Yes.
And
Unfortunately, Attorney Zulaika Lopez is not
how many times
present.
did we invite Attorney Sulaita?
She was invited in the September 18 hearing, Your Honor, and today as well, Your Honor.
So 2 times already. But
We,
in both
issued
occasions, she did not appear.
Yes,
Have we
Your Honor.
issued, Mr. Chairman, a show cause order?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's a motion already. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congresswoman
I
Luistro.
just wish to manifest the 3 important arguments that were raised in the said letter. First is we allegedly violated the separation of power. Second, we violated the due process. And third, we violated the confidential nature of the fund, which during the briefing of the budget briefing of the Office of the Vice President, we amply addressed already, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, while we are waiting for the copy of that letter from the Committee on APRO, I shared the 3 arguments which were raised in the said letter. First is the separation of power rule, second is the due process, and third is the confidential nature of the fund. During the budget briefing, Mr. Chair, we amply addressed already these 3 issues.
Okay, duly noted, Congresswoman Luistro.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please continue your interpellation, Congressman Valeriano.
Ang problem po, yung kasunod ko sana ng tanong in regards do sa letter na ginawa ni Attorney Lopez sa OBP na or any representative from the Office of the Vice President, pero wala po sila kahit isa, Mr. Chair. So, tinatapos ko na po yung pagtatanong ko. At meron na po bang representative from the OBP?
May I be recognized?
Wala pa rin po, Comsec.
May I be
Tama.
recognized, Your Honor?
Yes, as Comsec,
I
you're
was
recognized.
informed by the registration that there was one representative who signed in the registration. Her name is Marie Cristel Aksalan, while the rest did not register, Your Honor. And they are not here anymore. Marie Cristel Aksalan signed the registration, Your Honor.
She signed in the registration,
Yes.
but she is not physically present.
She was here a while ago.
She was here.
Some of them were here a while ago, and now they cannot be located, Your Honor.
Okay.
So with that, Mr. Chair, tineterminate ko na po yung ibang katanungan ko at antayin ko na lang po sa susunod na hearing pagka dumating na po yung Office of the Vice President. Salamat po, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Mr.
Yes,
Chair, just,
Congressman, Deputy Speaker Jay Suarez, you're recognized.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, with the indulgence of our next interpellator, I just want to go back dito sa COA natin. Attorney Camora, opo, nabanggit niyo po kanina na nakapag-submit po ng documents tungkol po dun sa liquidation ng 125 million in 11 days, no?
Attorney Camora.
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Can you please submit to the committee the documents that were submitted?
Mr. Chair, since it was already subpoenaed by the Committee on Appropriations, we can only comply through subpoena din po.
Okay.
It was subpoenaed by the Committee on Appropriation.
Yes, Mr.
So
Chair.
nasa Committee on Appropriation po yung documents, tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Maybe we can ask the COMSEC to request for a copy of the said documents.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, that was the next motion that I was gonna push forward, is that we request a copy of the documents that were transmitted to the Committee on Appropriations, just so that we can go through these documents. No? Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Of course, and of course, it should also include the 32 areas, no?
Yes. Did you submit the list of the 32 areas? covered by the period of December 21 to December 31, 2022?
Mr. Chair, we can provide the copies to the committee upon issuance of subpoena din po.
Upon the issuance of subpoena. Lucis Tecum. Do I hear a motion for the issuance?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion to issue a subpoena Lucis Tecum with respect to the 32 areas covering December 21 to December 31, 2022 with respect to the 125 million confidential fund. Is there any second to the motion?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Yes,
Mr.
Congressman Luistro, you're recognized.
I wish to go back to the letter opposing the subpoena issued by the Congress, specifically the Committee on Appropriations, Mr. Chair. I wish to manifest that the letter is dated August 21, 2024. So I humbly submit that during this time, Attorney Powa is already connected with the Office of the Vice President, and I wish to believe that he can enlighten us with respect to the questions to be propounded by the Honorable Valeriano, Mr. Chair.
Attorney Powa, would you please join us?
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
may I be
Attorney Powa.
recognized? Yes. I confirm the statement made by the Honorable Congresswoman that I was already, in fact, the spokesperson at that time, August 21, I believe. However, Mr. Chair, I really do not have the competence because I am not an employee of the OVP. I was only engaged to be the spokesperson at that point. And so I was not part of the drafting of such letter and was not part of anything with that letter. But if there's anything that I can contribute, then I will be willing to do so, Mr. Chair.
Would you like to proceed, Congressman?
Mr. Chairman,
Valeriano?
opo,
Mr. Chair, with the indulgence of
Yes,
Representative
Congressman
Go ahead.
Nika Sonsing.
Very quickly lang po. May I ask Mr. Chair a clarificatory question on the motion a while ago? How many areas po yung covered nung subpoena to Tecum?
132 areas.
Okay, yun lang Mr. Chair. Just wanted to clarify because I heard 32 po. So we just wanted to make sure 132 is correct. That's correct, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much po.
Thank you. Just to be clear, the motion was duly approved with respect to 132 areas. Okay po ba, Powa?
Mr.
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
Attorney
Again,
Powa.
my apologies. But again, I just have to at least state for the record, Your Honors, that the Vice President really did not authorize me to represent her or the OBP in this proceeding po. I really am here because I was part of the invitees doon po sa DepEd invite na pinadala po.
So with that, Mr. Chair, hindi rin niya pwedeng sagutin yung mga tanong ko in regards to the OBP, to the Office of the Vice President.
Opo. Mr. Chair,
Yes, please continue.
gustuhin ko man po kasi hindi po talaga ako authorized. So I'm afraid whatever I say might also be questioned later on, Your Honors.
Okay.
Hindi talaga po ako inauthorized ng Vice Presidente natin eh.
Okay, thank you po. We will now proceed to the next interpellator, the Honorable Dan Fernandez. Yes.
Wala naman po akong masyadong tanong, Mr. Chairman. Medyo nakaka-worry lang po talaga itong 125 million for 11 days. For the information of everybody, I became the mayor of Santa Rosa, and yung confidential fund ko is like 7 million per quarter. And it's really hard for me to utilize that amount for 3 months. And this amount is so huge that needs to be investigated rightly. Dito po sa Mr. Chairman, you have presented something, and I tried to secure the documents that you have presented a while ago. So I'll be dwelling on this information that you have given this committee. I hope that the COA have the liberty to say something on this disallowed portion of that 125 million, and that was issued by COA, no? Yung 73 million. Doon po ba sa purchase of information, lumalabas po dito that 14 million is the purchase of information, and this was spent for 11 days. So basically, it is 1.2 million per day for the purchase of information. What do you mean by purchase of information? Can you kindly explain to us what is a purchase of information? Mr. Chairman.
Sino pong sasagot? Attorney Camora, please answer.
Mr. Chair, based po on the joint circular regarding the guidelines on confidential funds, purchase of information pertains to those information necessary for the formulation and implementation of program activities and projects relevant to the national security and peace and order.
And with the submission of the Office of the President, or Office of the Vice President, regarding to this 14 million that was submitted by them, you deem it right to disallow the 14 million
Mr. Chair, 14 million purchase
of
purchase of information. It's not part of the notice of disallowance, Mr. Chair.
The 14 million is not part of the 73 million?
It was allowed po in audit, Mr. Chair.
The purchase of information was allowed?
Yes, Mr. Chair. The only
14 million for the purchase of information, you allowed it?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And your basis is what?
Their documentary evidence of payment.
What are the documentary evidence that was submitted to you, if you have the liberty to say it to us?
Mr. Chair, since it's already on the merits of the case, since it's already touching on the merits of the case, and we can only comment on those that we have submitted to the through the Subpoena to Sestecum, and since the notice of disallowance is not yet final, we cannot yet discuss on the merits of the notice of disallowance.
Okay, I respect that. So, medyo na-worry lang ako dito sa purchase of information that amounted to 14 million for 11 days. And you have approved it.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, since it's not yet final,
Did you
it's only
have this ito na lang po, hindi naman to mag-incriminate sa inyo, no? So, yung bang 14 million, may kasama mga equipments na binili?
Ibang item po, Mr. Chair, ang equipments.
So, yung purchase of information is all about information or data that you have gathered that you have approved sa COA.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Fernandez, if I just make
Yes,
point of
sir.
clarification.
Deputy Speaker, Jay.
May I just be informed as to what type of information was purchased?
Before you answer, Attorney Camora, let me first recognize the Honorable Joseph Stephen Paduano of Abang Lingkod and the Honorable Vice Chairman, Senior Vice Chairman Benvenido Abante. Please continue.
Mr. Chair, again, we cannot comment on it since it forms part of the merits of the case. But I would like to inform the body po that the entire ND is still subject to appeal to the adjudication of the commission proper. These are just the judgment of the audit.
I do understand the position of Attorney Camora. My question is, what type of information? Kasi sabi po dito, purchase of information. Ano yung anong klaseng information yun? Is it
Mr. Chair, I could only say that these are part of what is required under the joint circular, which is this information necessary for the formulation and implementation of programs, activities, and projects relevant to national security and peace and order.
Okay. No, I'm just curious kasi ngayon ako nakakita ng item na purchase of information. So anyway, I'm sorry, Congressman Fernandez, and I into your time.
Hindi kasi Mr. Chairman, I agree with Congressman DS
Congressman
JJ.
Dan Fernandez.
I agree with him, no? Precisely because if you were going to compute 14 million divided mo sa 11, that is 1.2 million for the information that wanted to be purchased by the Office of the Vice President and was approved by the COA. And that worries me a lot, no? If this information entails, siguro kung mga 4 months yan or in 1 year yan, acceptable yan. But in a day, 1.2?
And if
Purchase of information a day?
pwede po bang isang tanong lang?
Yes, sir.
Yung po bang 14 million na yun na information, sa isang tao lang po ba yun o maraming tao po yun?
Mr. Chair, hindi naman po yun sa isang tao lang.
Okay, just to ilan pong tao? Kung alam lang po ninyo.
I don't have the information right
At
now.
kung magkakaano po kada tao ang binigay para po sa purchase of information na yun? At kung saan po mga area?
Mr. Chair, details na po siya ng audit, so you could we could answer through if we are duly issued po Sabina de Sisteco.
Is there any motion? Do I hear any motion?
Yes, well, I move that ano ba? I move that we subpoenaed the Dusestacum.
The detailed information.
All those documents pertaining to the purchase of information, the detailed information about it.
Is there any second to the motion?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Secondly, Mr. Chairman, this is the payment of reward. Sa payment of reward, you utilize 10 million. The Office of the Vice President utilized 10 million. And this was spent for 11 days. So almost 1 million a day for the reward, payment of reward, cash. Cash. Same thing, COA. How this 10 million was utilized daily by the Office of the Vice President? Can you kindly educate me on how this happened? A million a day for payment of cash reward. Was there any news about the cash reward that was given by the Office of the Vice President to any individuals, for that matter, pertaining to this payment of reward in cash by the Office of the Vice President?
Mr. Chair, again, it's part of the
it will be a part
merits.
of the documents of the detail.
Although, Mr. Chair, we have indicated in the ND the reason why the rewards were disallowed. They were not able to satisfy us with the
Okay, I'm sorry.
documentary
I'm
requirements.
sorry, COA. You mean this 10 million is part of the disallowed by COA?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry about it. So sige, okay, so disallowed to. Okay, sige. So have they given you some information on or the detailed information about this payment of cash reward?
They have submitted compliance documents, Mr. Chair. But
Can
we
we-
deemed it not sufficient.
Yeah, go ahead.
We deemed it not sufficient to answer the requirements of the joint circular.
Can we also in that case, Mr. Chairman, may I move to subpoena also those documents pertaining to the payment of cash reward?
There's a motion by the Honorable Fernandez to subpoena to issue subpoena duces tecum with respect to the payment of cash reward.
Ito naman pong
Is there any objection? Is there any second to the motion?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Punta naman po tayo sa rental of other incidental expenses relative to the maintenance of safe houses. How many safe houses have the Office of the Vice President have?
Mr. Chair, again, it falls part of the merits. However, may I just say,
Hindi naman
Now
merits
na-
naman yun, Gloria. Tinatanong ko ilan lang yung para malaman namin kasi of course merong mga opisina ang Office of the Vice President sa buong Pilipinas. Are those offices that are being mentioned by the Office of the Vice President all over the country constitute also as the safe house of the OVP? Ayan, nakalagay dito. Meron kayong maintenance ng safe houses Do they have like 10, 18, 20, 30, 40?
Mr. Chair, I do not have information right now. on...
Can you kindly submit to us also? I move also to kasi Mr. Chairman, before we move for that, kasi 16 million were 16 million was spent for 11 days for the office of the Vice President doon po sa mga safe houses for maintenance. Maintenance of the safe houses, 16 million was spent for 11 days for these safe houses. Kaya nga tinatanong ko po, ilan po yung safe houses na yon at bakit gumastos tayo ng 16 million for that purpose for 11 days?
At kung saan?
Yes, so at kung saan yung mga safe houses na yun. So I move that we subpoena also those documents.
There's a motion by the Honorable Dan Fernandez to subpoena the information with respect to the safe houses of the office of the Vice President. Is there a second to the motion? Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Yung po purchase of supplies which cost us 35 million for 11 days. Madam Gloria, for purchase of supplies, ano po ba itong mga supplies na to? Ito na po ba yung mga chairs, tables, desktop?
Mr. Chairs, part of it po yung table chairs that were disallowed, and some of it naka-indicate po as rewards, so it was also disallowed.
When you say disallow, were you able to get some information who supplied this purchase of different items? Do you have the information about the contractors and the suppliers?
Mr. Chair, based on the joint circular, these supplies, materials, and equipment for confidential operations are not done through regular procedures without compromising the information.
I know. What I'm trying to tell you is that wala namang bidding siya eh. Hindi naman siya nabibidding talaga ang confidential fund. What I'm trying to point out, Mr. Chairman, is have they submit the supplier or the contractor of those purchase items? Siyempre, may nag-purchase, may nag-supply niyan eh. Kilala nyo ba? Nagbinigay ba yung information about it?
We only received documentary evidence of payment, Mr.
Hindi
Chair.
mo sinasagot ang tanong, Gloria eh. Ang tinatanong ko kung merong sinabit na supplier saka contractor. Titingin ka pa sa likod. Huwag ka na tumingin sa likod. Wait. Ano bang position mo sa COA?
Attorney 5 po, Mr. Chair.
And what is your responsibility in the Commission on Audit?
Review of the audit po.
Ha?
Review of the audit.
Review of the audit? Ano ginagawa ng review of the audit?
Tinitingnan ko, Chair, yung...
So, nakikita mo na. Huwag ka na tumingin sa likod. So, anong nakita mo doon? So, binigay sa iyo yung 35 million na purchase ng goods for 11 days. Siyempre, nakita mo, 35 million, 11 days. Wow! Ang bigat nito, 35 million, 11 days. Sino yung nag-supply nitong mga supply na to? Di ba? Yan ang trabaho mo eh. So,
yes.
Sino yung mga supplier?
Mr. Chair, kasi...
Sino yung mga supplier na nakita mo?
Sa merits na po kasi...
Oh my goodness.
Merits na po
Ang
kasi...
point po ni Congressman Dan Fernandez, hindi ka ba nagtaka? Yun po yung gusto niyang ipunto. Hindi po ba kayo nagtaka na nagkaroon ng purchase na worth 35 million in 11 days? Tama po ba yun?
Yes, oo. 35 million. Ako naman, kahit ako, mayor ako eh. Di ba nakita ko, nag-purchase ako ng ganito, 35 million in 11 days. Magugulat ako. Ano-ano ba to? So ikaw, bilang ikaw yung parang COA, nakikita mo yan, nakita mo 35 million in 11 days. Supplies. Sino supplier nito? Di ba? Hindi maapektuhan ang merit nito. Tinatanong ko lang kung sino yung supplier. Now, kung binigay nila yung supply, binayaran nila, at nakita natin above board, so what's the problem? Okay. But unfortunately, magugulat ka, 11 days, 35 million for purchase of supplies. Kaya tinatanong ko lamang, sino yung supplier?
Mr. Chair, hindi po ako makapagsabi ngayon ng...
Alam mo, Gloria, nagsisinungaling ka. Don't. Please. Sabihin mo lang kung sino yung supplier.
Sir, ang sinubmit lang po talaga nila is documentary evidence of payment. Hindi na po yung...
So wala yung supplier?
Opo.
Are you sure?
Opo.
Wala doon sa sinubmit sa inyo?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Because we are... we moved for those documents a while ago.
Yes, Mr.
Kasi
Chair.
pag nakita namin meron doon, tatamaan ka dyan. Sige ka.
Mr. Chair, ang sinubmit po nila sa amin is yung documentary evidence of payment, but wala po yung mga
Wala yung supplier.
suppliers.
Okay, sige, I
Wala.
will accept that momentarily. Okay, Mr. Chairman, punta po tayo dun sa, sa provision of medical and food aid. 40 million for 11 days. Again, wala rin yung supplier dito?
Wala din po, Mr. Chair. Kaya part din po siya ng
Did you ask
disallowed,
did you ask the Office of the Vice President to submit all the contractors and suppliers of all these supplies and the medical and food aid?
we asked them to explain po the...
Hindi, but did you ask for the supplier?
Normally, Chair, hindi po.
Why?
We just do our audit based on the requirements under the
Sige,
joint
I will
circular.
accept that. But Mr. Chairman, at least I think it is imperative for us to find out the contractor and suppliers of all those supplies that was purchased by the Office of the Vice President. Not because ano tayo, what do you call this? Medyo hindi natin pinupuntirya. Tama. Thank you for that word. Hindi natin pinupuntirya yung mga supplier and contractor. What we are after, Mr. Chairman, is the amount, the huge amount that is what's spent for 11 days. And this is something extraordinary. Hindi naman po siya ganun ka-simple that 40 million will be spent on medical and food aid, 11 days. Tapos yung supplies, 35 million for 11 days. Purchase of information, 14 million for 11 days. And ito pa, yung lastly, yung payment of incentives on traveling relative to the confidential operations. How does it work? Paano nagbabayad ng incentives or traveling? Can you kindly explain it to us? Because we spent 10 million in 11 days.
Mr. Chair, they gave an explanation on this po that those are actually rental of transport vehicles related to confidential activities po.
And accordingly, hindi tayo kumukuha ng mga receipt galing sa mga operators ng mga vehicles.
Mr. Chair, ang requirement lang po kasi is documentary evidence of payment.
Okay, thank you so much. With that,
Are you done?
Yes, I'm Dan Fernandez, sir.
Tapos na po ba kayo?
Okay. Am I done? Okay.
With the indulgence, of course, of Congressman Suwan. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I be allowed to raise some procedural issues?
Congressman Marcoleta, you are not a member of this committee, so therefore you are not allowed.
I think, Mr. Chair, we have yet to resolve that because, as you said in the last hearing, my removal as a vice chair of this committee was a plenary action. And therefore, there should be a plenary action to remove me as a member of this committee. I'd like to believe, Mr. Chair, that when I was installed as a vice chair of this committee, it presupposes membership. I am supposed to be deemed a member because if I were not a member, I cannot be appointed as a vice chair. The officiality of that is, the position is only a privilege, but membership is organic. So until and unless that was to be resolved, Mr. Chair, I think you have to recognize me as a member of this committee because even if I admit or I will probably accede to you that I am not a member, kahit hindi po ako member sa committee ito, being a member of the House of Representatives, I have the right to make issues and to raise issues. That's why I'm asking your permission to do so, Mr. Chair.
You can at any time make a manifestation. In fact, I've been recognizing you po. But with respect to the issue of your removal, the committee is not in the position to answer that. Maybe you can question the Committee on Rules. Sila po ang proper committee na po pwede pong sumagot.
Yes, Mr. Chair, that is correct. The only reason why I answered you back because you said that I am not a member of this committee. I should not have raised that at all had you not said it. But may I continue, Mr. Chair, in raising some procedural issue because during the first hearing, I know that the very basis of this inquiry in aid of legislation was the privileged speech delivered by Honorable Valeriano. And I would like to make of record, Mr. Chair, although I was unable to do that during the first hearing, the privileged speech shouldn't have been allowed at all based on our rules. Our rules specifically states that no one can be allowed or avail the privilege hour if the concern he is to raise in his privileged speech principally and directly relates to a bill under consideration. At the time Honorable Valeriano, Mr. Chair, delivered his privileged speech, the General Appropriations Bill was already filed on August 27, 2024. He took the floor on September 3, and therefore any concern relating to the subject matter in the budget or in the bill should not have been allowed at all. And then this morning I saw the agenda, Mr. Chair. There was an additional agenda added in this committee, and this is supposed to be the manifestation raised by Congresswoman Louis Stroh. And I saw in the notes that it was taken up as motu proprio matter, Mr. Chair. On procedural matters, I don't know how it should be done, because motu proprio, to my mind, is something that would indicate an official action taken without formal request from another party. And so my question, Mr. Chair, is how did the committee took it on a motu proprio basis when it was a manifestation taken by another party? I see it a very unusual procedure, Mr. Chair, because this representation, I would like to recall that sometime in March 2024, delivered a privileged speech dealing on the same subject matter, and I think even more, I questioned the several irregularities pointed out by the Commission on Audit, specifically in 2017, 2018, and 2019, covering the audit report of COA in the Department of Education. In that privileged speech, Mr. Chair, I took note of the sum of something like 3.25 billion pesos of information communication technology packages. As noted by the Commission on Audit at the time, Mr. Chair, there were no adequate supporting documents. Unfortunately, that privileged speech was not even referred to the department or to the committee, to any committee, either the Committee on Education or the Committee on Good Government. And so my question, Mr. Chair, is how is it special, or how special can a manifestation issued during the budget committee hearing that this committee, this good committee, already took it as a motu proprio action, subject matter to be covered by this hearing. So parang there is no consistency, Mr. Chair. Parang I would like to volunteer, Mr. Chair, that a copy of my privileged speech delivered on March 15, 2021, entitled "Covadis DepEd." It was not even referred to any committee, Mr. Chair. When I exposed several irregularities in the Department of Education as audited by the Commission on Audit, I would like to volunteer that this be made part of the documents that might be taken up by the committee in regard to any investigation with regard to DepEd. In this particular privileged speech, Mr. Chair, I even question a particular law. It's Republic Act 1847. This is a law enacted in 1995. And in that particular law, it prohibited DepEd, then called DEX, the time, Mr. Chair. DEX at that time was already prohibited from procuring and publishing the books. And it should be relegated, or it should be transferred to the private sector publishers. For more than 25 years, Mr. Chair, the DepEd did not follow the law. It's Republic Act 8047. I've been pointing out to them several times already. But there was no investigation done on that matter. How is it that a manifestation issued during a budget hearing be taken up as motu proprio when a full privilege speech dealing on the same subject matter, and even, I think, more appropriately described as more complete, but it wasn't taken up, Mr. Chair. This is all, and I thank you very much for allowing me. Thank you.
Thank you. Duly noted.
Ngayon, ikaw, bilang Pilipino, ano ang masasabi mo at reaksyon sa balitang ito? Mag-iwan ka ng komento sa ibaba at atin pong babasahin isa-isa.